Welcome to the July Lexipol Media Group Spotlight video. This month we're going to start with news, a high-performing article from Police One. This mom did the right thing, turned her son in. Lots of readers had great comments about this and appreciation for mom, and hopefully her son can rehabilitate in the criminal justice system. Also, a tragic story, a top news item, but tragic. Two Alabama firefighters were shot inside their station in July. Unfortunately, one of those firefighters died. We had another story of violence against a public safety provider, in this case, a New York City EMT who was stabbed multiple times by a patient. This EMT has since been released from the hospital, but has expressed interest in no longer working and living in New York City, which is unfortunate. This danger of attack against public safety providers is not new. This is an older but great video series that lives on EMS1 called Street Survival. A lot about how to stay safe on the streets and prevent or minimize danger from violence. Mike Tagman is the creator and narrator of this series. Mike has taught police, law enforcement, firefighters for decades, and hope you check this out. Some really great training that's available for street survival on EMS1.com. Last month, we attended the What Paramedics Want, or I should say, we released What Paramedics Want. That's our State of the Industry survey. We released it at the Pinnacle EMS conference. This is each year, thousands of EMTs and paramedics participate in this. We round up their responses and provide expert analysis in this digital edition. If you search What Paramedics Want in 2023, you should be able to get here. I'll also put a link in the show notes. And you can find previous years by searching What Paramedics Want or EMS Trend Report and the year. The new series that's been launching across our sites is the Leadership Playbook. It exists on FireRescue1, also EMS1, and of course Police One. We're getting a lot of great momentum from this series. You can see on this page we've collected up articles, but also podcasts and other resources, even a book excerpt. One thing that we're featuring is a Q&A series on Police One. We call it the Leadership Beat. And this is a Q&A. Chief Washington, in this case, answers and provides some really great insights about his journey as a police officer and now a chief of department. Another one from Chief George Powell in North Carolina. Each of these Q&As includes a lightning round, which I'm finding especially insightful. Some great resources like these books or podcasts that chiefs share, something that's worth checking out. Another feature in the playbook has been this leadership development series. This is actually the 8th article about a leadership competency. So check that out. Here's another example of that, but this is the 7th article in that series. We're also doing podcasts related to leadership across the sites, EMS1, FireRescue1, and Police One. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can find Policing Matters, as well as Inside EMS, EMS One Stop, and the Better Every Shift podcast. Like I mentioned, we were at Pinnacle EMS Leadership Conference last month. Carrie Hatt, EMS1 editor-in-chief, was on the ground covering the event. Here's an article she wrote, takeaways from this year's What Paramedics Want or EMS Trend Survey, a presentation that I got to give with a collaborator from Fitch and Associates. One of the things we addressed was agency leadership. When asked, what are the things that cause you stress? The number one thing for all respondents was agency leadership being poor, and of note, 99% of respondents either picked that as the 1, 2, or 3 most stressful thing in their profession, their professional experience for them specifically. Carrie also covered a presentation about hiring Gen Z. This is the demographic group that's entering the workforce right now. We're also regularly covering, like this example on FireRescue1, some insights to understanding the different generations and how that's impacting both the workers or the volunteers, but also their leaders. Our friend and longtime contributor, Captain Jim Spell, retired, is going through chemotherapy. Unfortunately, cancer is far too common in firefighters. Jim gives us some insights into the treatment that he's receiving. And, I think our effort is twofold. One is we want to continue to provide information to help firefighters prevent or reduce their risk of cancer, and then also to support them if they do get a cancer diagnosis. So thank you, Captain Spell, and we wish you the best here as you receive treatment. Dr. Candace Ashby was a recent guest on the Better Every Shift podcast. A really dynamic and fun presentation. You can listen on YouTube, the FireRescue1 YouTube channel, or anywhere you find podcasts. You can subscribe, or you can even go to FireRescue1 and just watch and listen on this page. Uh, Fire Rescue 1 team will be at Fire Rescue International in a few weeks in Kansas City. We'll be covering the event. If you can't attend, we've got some tips on how to follow the event or take part in it virtually to minimize the FOMO you experience. We're going to wrap up with some talk about cold water therapy. July was the hottest month on record across the United States and across the world. Cold water therapy not only is a way to get a break from the heat, but also good for your mind and your body. So we start with this explainer. It's an emerging trend in officer wellness. Officer Joshua Lee, a longtime contributor to Police One, talks about those physical and mental benefits of cold water therapy, and then goes a step further with some tips and tricks, and then even explains how to build your own ice bath using an old chest freezer. So a step-by-step guide, so you don't need to use so much ice, but can have something that's always cold and ready for you. So he takes this old chest freezer from this to something really useful that he's willing to sit in, and good for him for that reuse. And always available. And then our own senior editor, Sarah Callums, takes us through her personal reasons for starting a 30-day ice bath challenge. And please read this article. I know from correspondence we've received, a lot of readers have been inspired by Sarah sharing what her personal trauma or stress has been and why she's on this journey. And so if you want to get started with the article, and then you can go to Police One on YouTube or Police One on Instagram. This page will load here in a second. So here's the playlist. Sarah's already 11 days in. You can also follow her on Police One Instagram to see how she's doing. If you decide to take the ice bath challenge, make sure you use the hashtag that Sarah's recommended, and follow along with her. And then finally, in July, you probably heard Barbie was the most ticket sales for a movie, along with Oppenheimer, the double bill. You might not know that Barbie has a long career in public safety. Barbie has been a police officer. Barbie has also been a firefighter several times and also a paramedic. And then Rachel reminds us, in the height of the pandemic, American Girl dolls honored paramedics and EMS by making a doll based on real life EMT April Quinn. So public safety, both in the news, but also a chance to inspire the next generation for a career in public safety. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you like and subscribe to the Lexipol YouTube channel, and find FireRescue1, EMS, and Police One on YouTube, in your browser, and in your podcast player app.